What's up? This is Sankala, and I was just gonna post tonight, and I can't because Blogger's down. So I figured I would do a few videos just to pass some time and to get my need to whatever you want to call it out of the way. Um, First off, what I wanted to cover tonight was the fact that Brock Lesnar is out of his fight with Junior Dos Santos. So most likely we'll get to see him replaced on The Ultimate Fighter. Um, this sucks. He's out with diverticulitis again, which is a disease of the intestines, which definitely to me suggests that they didn't cure it. They just, masked it. It's masked it. It's back again, and I don't think we're gonna ever see Brock Lesnar again. The only reason I say this is because it's it's a weird thing with your intestines and something like that. The diet you have to take, especially when you're a big guy like Brock Lesnar, to be in the UFC. I don't think he's going to be able to find that magic diet that'll allow him to keep competing at the highest level and still keep up with his health. I mean, I give the guy credit for being, still in there. A lot of guys would have quit when they first had diverticulitis, but I mean, now that it's flared up again, I'm pretty sure we're going to see Brock walk away. He's got plenty of money. He's done just about everything. He's been the UFC champion. He lost his title, and it would definitely be a very very long road for him to come back from this, especially since his his number he had the number one contendership fight. Sorry, my computer screen goes buggy, so I can't really look at myself a lot. That's when I fix the screen, is when I'm trying to figure out if I look ridiculous or not. So I apologize for anything like that. But yeah, like I was saying, Brock, I definitely think we're gonna see him walk away. I don't think we're gonna see him come back from this. He had the number one contendership, right up for his grasp. All he had to do was go through Junior Dos Santos, which definitely was not an easy task. And it's sad to see him go because he is a very public face for MMA. But me personally, I don't think he was the best ambassador of the sport, especially with the crowd base he brought. Um, I was never a big fan of Brock. I don't know. He definitely is a showman, which a lot of people he love him or hate him. You weren't on the fence about Brock. I personally, as a fighter, felt he definitely he proved me wrong. I didn't think he was going to be able to go as far as he did, and he went there. He became the champion. He was, a lot of people thought he would be the best heavyweight ever. Was that a lot of the hype? I definitely think so. I mean, there was definitely a lot of holes in his game, but I think had he you know had he not gotten sick, I think we could have seen Brock evolve. Again, I'm just speculating that he's gonna walk away. He could surprise the hell out of me and come back, but I just think it's just a very hard thing. I mean, my dad personally, he had ulcerative colitis, which is a disease of the intestines, and it is a very serious thing to deal with. So, even though I'm not a huge fan of his, I definitely wish him the best of luck. I know how terrible it can be to have a disease like that, and I definitely hope I would love to see him return to the sport just because there's so many unanswered questions. You know, is he actually as good as everyone says he is? And in most of the fights where people, were definitely counting him out, he showed a lot of heart and a lot of guts, and especially during the Carwin fight, he showed that he wants to be in this sport. He wants to, prove his spot and say that, the hype wasn't for nothing. He's here, but I don't know. It's just this is the second time this has happened. He's, been it was a year the first time, and that was when he had the title. Now, I think if we see him sit out another year, it'll be a very long road back to the top for him. Uh, by that time, we'll definitely see either Kane assert himself as a dominant champion or someone come in and beat Kane. And I don't think you're going to decision Kane Velasquez. I think someone's going to have to go in there and stop him. And, Kane beat the piss out of Brock. So anyone that can take Kane out most likely can handle Brock. Um, just because the only reason I say this is, Kane shows a lot of power in his hands. Brock hasn't really shown this. So Kane is basically a faster version of Brock, and Brock was basically the big man with a lot of speed. So if you can handle Kane, in my view, you could probably handle Brock. It's it's a sucky thing to happen, but there's a brighter side, and that brighter side is Shane Carwin stepped up. He said, it was pretty much there wasn't even a doubt who was going to replace Brock. I mean, Shane, he pretty much immediately stepped up and said, "Yeah, I'll fight Junior." And this, I think, is going to be possibly even a better matchup. Brock, there was always that possibility of, a ground game fight, and Junior versus Carwin, I think we're just going to see an all-out war, and one of these guys is going down. Uh, I it's a very hard fight to call, especially since you don't know how they were each training. I mean, Carwin was training for John Alavanimo, who is a very good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist. So if he was focusing on his wrestling, and putting his stand-up aside, saying, I already know I'm much better than this guy, he's now gone from a ground specialist to someone with dynamite in their hands. That is Junior Dos Santos. Uh, it's it's definitely one of those fights that I don't think we're gonna see either of the guys. I don't want to say neither of them get knocked out, because you just don't know what's gonna happen in this fight. I mean, I think anyone that says they can predict the outcome of this fight is kind of ridiculous. It's really a crapshoot. I mean, it's Shane has excellent wrestling and excellent, you know, ground and pound, and just he's a monster on his feet. I mean, that guy can put you away with one punch, and so can Junior. So, I mean, this is just going to be who goes down first. And both of these guys, I don't think they're going to go down. I think it's going to be an all-out war, and I'm going to go with Junior just because he was facing a similar opponent. And Shane and Brock, they're very similarly built. They're both wrestlers. So I think, Junior was definitely training for wrestling. And I think if he was training to stop Brock, he's probably going to stop Shane's wrestling. And I don't think Shane Carwin's going to try and wrestle with him. I think this is just going to be a stand and bang fest. And I definitely think, this is awesome. This isn't a crap last minute replacement. I mean, this is a guy that's coming off a loss to Brock Lesnar where, a lot of people thought it could have easily been stopped by Carwin in the first round. He did gas, and Brock showed his true heart and came out there and put Shane away, which was very impressive to watch, which is why I'm so sad to see Brock go. Uh, as a real fan of MMA, you have to be sad to see Brock go. I mean, I don't know, it sucks. I keep saying go, but you don't know if he's going to be back, but I think this is it. So, I mean, that sets up Carwin versus Dos Santos, which is going to be a great fight, and then the winner versus Cain Velasquez. And I mean, these three guys have all been talked about fighting each other for a very long time, and we're finally going to get the answer to that. And, could we? I think we could easily see possibly the loser of this fight. If Brock does come back, Brock will probably fight one of these three, depending on who it was. Whether it's, if Junior loses, there's the Junior versus Brock. If Shane loses, there's Shane versus Brock. A rematch. If Cain Velasquez ends up losing out of all this, it's Cain versus Brock. So this is, they were like the top four guys, and it's, just kind of going to be a very hard fought battle to see who is the true champion. So I don't know. We're looking at a very, 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 fuck, I say very a lot. I apologize for that. I'll work on it. But this video is running kind of long, so I'm going to stop it right around now. But yeah, so look forward to that.